Yo, welcome back to Hella Products. This is going to be a new kind of video. My last video about using the Google Pixel 3 held up to a Nikon Monarch 7 binocular for safari kind of wildlife pictures seemed to get a lot of interest, so I'm going to do a new video, and this video is basically just going to be kind of a narrated photo sharing video. So we'll see how that goes. So you won't see a lot of me, but you'll see stuff I was taking pictures of, and then I'll try and kind of talk through the story behind the pictures. And if you like it, I can try and do more of them. I probably won't get through all of my Kenya pictures because I took a lot of them, but I'll start with some, and then if there's interest I can do more. I'm also thinking of doing a video about kind of do's and don'ts or frequently asked questions for people who are planning an African safari, and kind of walk through how I thought about it and how I got it organized, and just common kind of new traveler questions that I had, and I can share my experience. So without further ado, let's go into the narrated photo sharing section of this video, which hopefully will be interesting to you. Keep it real. So the first picture I have here was the night before the safari began. This is using the Pixel 3 portrait mode, so it kind of looks pretty cool with the blurry background. I actually have two products I love in this picture. One is the hat, which is made by, oddly enough, a Canadian company called Tilley. And when I was doing safari research, everybody was saying Tilley hats are great. They kind of look like, you know, old school looking hats, but I gotta tell you, they are freaking amazing. They cost a lot of money, but you know, you kind of get what you pay for. That hat has a number of features, like it has this little ventilated strip you can see up top, that little kind of mesh looking stuff. But it also has a little foam insert on inside and a pocket. The foam insert's good for if you drop it in like on a boat and it lands on a lake or river or something. The pocket's good if you need to put like a credit card in there or business card. But it's just a really well made hat. So that's product one. And then number two, I'm wearing a t-shirt. Oh, what is the name of the company that makes that shirt? They're based out of San Francisco. My goodness, my brain is not working. Marine Layer. Yes, Marine Layer is the name of the company. And they're just great t-shirts. They use like really soft fabric, and I think they use the same fabric that you use to clean like sunglass lenses. So it's got that really soft fabric. Anyway, you probably came here for animals, not portraits of me. But since we're going in chronological order, I gotta show you. Oh, interestingly enough, here's another one. I guess this is a picture of me on the plane, and the kids are behind me, and we are just super excited, getting ready to go to Africa. So this is a moment where the kids are behind, just watching some TV. I will say it's interesting. There's a lot of little hidden product recommendations. I'm wearing those Bose. I think they're QC3s. They're those noise reducing headphones. If you do a lot of plane travel and you don't use noise canceling headphones, you really should consider it, because what I found is that noise on a plane creates mental and physical fatigue. I think it's part of the cause of jet lag, to be honest. I can tell you when I take a flight and I wear them, I feel not as tired at the end of the flight. So I think the Bose ones are generally the best noise canceling headphones, but to be honest, I haven't done a lot of research lately. I've been using those for a few years. I do a lot of flying for work, and I never, ever, ever, ever travel through air without wearing noise canceling headphones. Oh, this one's a cool one. This is a picture of my wife wearing one of my watches, the Oris chronograph. They don't make that model anymore. Oris is a great company in that it's a mechanical Swiss watch manufacturer, but it's not as well known as Rolex and Omega. Probably watch collectors would not consider it super high end, but they make really nice watches. That one's just particularly beautiful. I feel like it has this nice vintage look. I put what they call a NATO strap, which is like a fabric bracelet or strap around it, and I kind of feel like it fit really well with the safari motif. So that's all of these photos are from the Google Pixel 3. As you can see, it just takes great pictures. I used to have iPhone for like the last 10 years, literally the last 10 years, and then just switched to the Pixel 3 a few months ago, and right before the Safari, and really have not looked back. Okay, next picture. This one is, in a way, it's kind of like the first shot of the African sun. I think we're getting ready to land near Nairobi, and I just opened up the window and took this picture. Kind of cool, the lighting, kind of like this halo effect around the window. Not going to win any awards with that picture, but we're going on a journey, so that was the journey. This picture, also not going to win any awards, but this was the first night we landed in Nairobi. So you land in Nairobi, and we stayed at a hotel near the city. These are my two boys using the night mode. So it's actually dark outside, but it's kind of cool how this brightened it up. You can see how it's a little blurry because it's such low light condition. But I mean, if I look at this picture now, it feels like it's 4 in the afternoon. I think this picture was taken around 8 p.m. So, and it was dark. It was after sunset. All right, let's move on. This is a picture of us at a local airport. This is a different kind of airport in that it's these are like these Cessna bush planes. I think we were taking Kenya Express or this is in front of an Air Kenya plane, so I'm guessing maybe we took Air Kenya, but I mean these planes you can put maybe, the planes that we were riding on, 2, 4, 6, maybe like 8 people. So you can only bring soft luggage. So when you go on a safari, you're not really allowed to bring like big roller bags or anything. And these little planes, they have weight limits around them. So you really just have to pack for 3 days, really, even if you have a 10-day trip. And just make use of the... my God, the kids in the background are making so much noise. It's like a zoo back there. Hopefully that doesn't come through too much. At any rate, there are some product recommendations in this picture too. You see that gray little bag in the center of the photo, that's my CPAP, which is what you use if you have sleep apnea, and I have it. And a lot of people think, well, you know, they're a big snorer. Big snorer could be just snoring, or it could be a sign that it's so bad that your brain is not getting enough oxygen when you sleep, and it's not letting you have deep sleep. So I got diagnosed with sleep apnea, I don't know, like maybe in 2012, 2013. Have never had a night without my CPAP, maybe with just a few exceptions. And if you are a big snorer and you're always tired in the day and drinking a ton of coffee and like getting drowsy even at night, or sorry, not at night, like when you're driving, you may have sleep apnea. Yeah, so don't want to turn this into a medical advice thing, but since it's in the picture, figured I'd share it. All right, next picture. Okay. This is the inside of the plane. And as you can see, we're not in first class, but we're right behind the pilot and co-pilot. You know, there's there's like 3 seats per aisle, and maybe like, I think there were like 5 aisles. It's a small plane, so it was kind of nuts. You know, it's propellers and everything, and it was a little scary because you're like, whoa, is this thing really going to happen? Oh, here's a video. Here's a video of us about to take off. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, I was excited, but it was a little bit unnerving because you do hear about planes having accidents. And ironically, I think the week we were in Kenya, there was one of these planes that went down. And I think all the passengers perished. Luckily, that didn't happen to us. And I don't think it happens often, but it can happen. And, you know, in the back of your mind, you're like, all right, well, I'm sure they may not have the same kind of FAA regulations around maintenance and upkeep. But the way this works is if you don't take these little bush planes, you end up driving like 7-8 hours from National Reserve to National Reserve. And then these planes cut that down to like 2 or 3 hours, you know. I mean, the flight itself only takes like, you know, an hour. So, but yeah, man, this is a tiny little plane with propellers, and it's loud. It's pretty nuts. But look how, after we left the city, you can already see a lot of kind of undeveloped land, and, you know, it's nice to see. So that was that. All right, next. All right. Oh, this was one of the first pictures I took after we landed. I kind of felt like, I don't know, I had this like iconic vibe to it. That's just like a little pickup truck which is converted. So what they told me with these Land Cruisers is they're not really obviously they're not the Land Cruisers that you're familiar with in you know, most developed markets. These are called Land Cruisers, but they're really pickup trucks. And then they're then outfitted by aftermarket companies to turn them into these safari vehicles. So they come in different varieties. Yeah, so you kind of buy the bare bones Toyota pickup truck, and then you put your stuff around it. Let's see here. All right, here is a selfie we took in our first Land Cruiser. And what's kind of cool about this one is I didn't realize this narrated photo shoot is going to turn into a product review, but I'm holding a selfie stick. And I will say I used to really kind of hate selfie sticks. You know, they kind of seem kind of obnoxious and like nothing screams tourist like a selfie stick. But I will tell you that it comes in handy. Because if you find yourself taking a lot of selfies where you want your whole family in the pic and you don't want to go bug someone, and then invariably the person that you bug to take the picture, like maybe they don't take a great picture. So the selfie stick comes in handy. I'm also wearing a vest, which is really helpful to kind of keep all your insect spray and some money, and sort of has like, I think that vest is also from Tilley, the same company that makes the hats, and they had like, I don't know, 12 pockets. I'm wearing a convertible shirt, which means you can roll it up and turn it in from a short sleeve shirt from a long sleeve shirt into a short sleeve shirt, and has these buttons that will keep it up. It's also made of very breathable fabric, so it's really great for like any climate where it's kind of cool in the morning and then warms up at night and then cools back down in the early evening. But yeah, that's the first shot inside of our safari. That's where kind of it felt like this is getting real. Let's see what my next photo will be. Ooh, another product. Haha. Okay, so this one is a photo of my G-Shock. So I got this G-Shock watch because I have a lot of watches. I'm a little bit of a watch enthusiast, so they're kind of pricey. And I looked it up, and I think the average annual income in Kenya is like $1,000 a year. So I was like, well, it's kind of obnoxious, plus like potential, maybe dangerous, I don't know, to wear like a really fancy watch. So I got the G-Shock. I also knew like we would be in kind of bumpy cars and rough and tumble dusty areas, so didn't feel great bringing a really kind of collectible watch to that environment. So I got this G-Shock. I like this kind of like army green color, you know. It's kind of, you know, a little macho, I guess, masculine. Turns out it worked great in Africa and kind of fit in to the vibe that we were on. It has a triple sensor, like altitude, barometer, something else. Honestly, never use those triple sensors. Just use it for telling the time. Maybe I might have had a timer. Might have used a stopwatch, probably for the kids, telling them how much time they have to play a video game or something. But this is inside the Land Cruiser. And what's kind of neat is, you see they put this like heavy duty paint. It's obviously not lined with any fabric or, Alcantara or anything fancy, because it gets dusty. All right, moving on, because you're probably thinking like, what kind of safari is this? Like, at some point, are we going to see some animals? All right, so, this is a picture of my wife, and she's using a monocular, which is like just half of a binocular, and her iPhone 10, which we actually started comparing pictures, and the iPhone 10 camera is just, I know I keep harping on it, but it really is not comparable to the Pixel 3 camera. It's really quite sad, because she spent all this money on this iPhone 10 and she had just gotten it, and we would take the same picture, and eventually by the end of the trip she put her iPhone 10 away, and she was like, can we just use your Pixel, because the pictures don't look good on the iPhone 10. But this is an example of that kind of, bush zoom lens, which is you take your camera phone and you hold it up to your binocular, in this case, monocular, you're asking, you're like, what kind of deal is this? Where are the animals? We will get to the animals, but, you know, I want to go in order. So the first animals we saw, not going to win any awards on this one, but I'm only going to show you this picture because it's the first picture I took, and it was a bunch of ostriches near the airport. Kind of blurry, nothing really fancy here. I will say it's kind of neat seeing ostriches and then all of these animals like just walking around without cages. I know that sounds, when you say it, it sounds kind of weird. You're like, well, isn't that how animals should be? But growing up in, you know, New Jersey and then living in Seattle, like obviously we didn't see a lot of these animals roaming around. So here is some zebras, and I guess those are wildebeests behind them. This must have been some kind of motion picture because it's not a video, nor is it a photo. Let's see. Here's a photo of the first zebras we saw. What you'll find is there are a lot of zebras at least in Kenya. No shortage of zebras. In fact, I heard some people eat zebra meat. There's so many of them, but I think they're also kind of protected. I'm gonna kind of now move on to some good, like more, rather than making this chronological. I mean, I still go in chronological order, but I'm gonna skip over a bunch of pictures. As you know, well, you don't know, but I took over 1,000 pictures, so we're not gonna narrate each of them. But here's the first kind of cooler picture that we took. And this is of elephants. So one of the things that's cool about these elephants is like there's a lot of them. There's always like family units. Like there's always seems to be always like the babies near the mama and the papas, and they just walk around. They walk around a lot. I mean, it's amazing how much they seem to travel throughout the day. So it also reminds you like, wow, those elephants inside our zoos, like, it really is a little bit like animal prison zoos. But I never really thought about it. I mean, people talked about it, but I never really realized it until I see these elephants kind of in the wild, and you're like, okay, so this is what it's supposed to be like. I just looked at the timing, and it's like 20 minutes into this video, so I'm gonna have to wrap up soon. But this is a pretty cool picture. This is elephants. I think I was starting to get a hang of the phone better, but this is elephants. This is elephants like in this marshy area, just kind of eating a lot of vegetation, and it's quite beautiful. Like look how crisp the like blades of grass are, and again, you usually see elephants in this dry area, but these guys are just hanging out in the water. Here is a video I took of that same elephant. My God, what is going on outside? I'm recording this thing in my home office, and my boys are just like screaming. Ugh. At any rate, here he is. He's got a little white bird on top of him, and he's just hanging out. Like I guess he's having lunch. I think this was an afternoon game drive. So the way these drives work is you usually do them in the morning, like around 7. The hardcore people start at 6. And then you do another one around 4, because in the middle of the day it's just way too hot and the animals really aren't often out. Okay, see if I have another one. All right, here is a little video shot of a bunch of zebras, and you know, just look how like well fed and kind of plump and happy they look. You think about the zebras in the zoo, and I don't think they look like that. And then what's also nice is they get to mingle with other animals, and they can travel great distances too, obviously. Don't want to turn this into an anti-zoo thing, but all right, here is a picture of me and my son, my oldest son. There's a okay, one is like, okay, again, amazing Pixel 3 portrait mode. But more importantly, I'm wearing these Oakley sunglasses with the, what you call it? They have these special lenses that filter out, like glare better. Let me see if I can, Oakley lenses with what do they call that? I'm now Googling it. I think it starts with an R. Well, I'll have to look it up later. But I that's the second pair of those Oakleys that I've had. I think I scratched up the first one because I used to just toss it in my bag without putting in the little that little fabric case. But obviously now I take much better case. Oh, polarized lenses. Yeah, that's it. All right, let's move on to another photo because you're like, come on, dude. All right, hold on. Let me just make sure I add this to the album so I can add to the video after. Here's kind of cool. This is a picture of a monkey that was in the same kind of camp as we were the first time we stayed. If you look closely, there's a baby that's holding on to the mother. This is a mother. So you see the little arms of the baby. And I think he's holding, I don't know, some kind of fruit or something. She's holding some kind of fruit. But look at the amazing kind of detail on that. What a great picture, if I do say so myself. So, geez, the kids are just like, must be a full moon or something today. Okay, let's do another picture. Okay, this is pretty funny. So this is another monkey, and what's kind of cool is, great, that's a monkey. Not used to seeing those at hotels I normally stay at, but this is literally like on my way to my room. He's just like sitting there on the path. Then later that day, I took this picture of my son, and what's interesting is they kind of look similar. So monkeys and humans, we do have a lot in common. Here is a picture of from the camp that we were at. I think it was called the Serena camp, and this park was called, this is right near, let's see, it's Kenyan National Reserves. What are the names? This was near the, starts with an A, has all the, it's known for lots of elephants. What? Amboselli, yes, Amboselli. Sorry, guys. I know this is dragging on, but what's cool is like this is at the Serena Amboselli Lodge, and they have these like obviously nice little sitting areas, and literally like the animals are right out there, like they're just like out there grazing. So Super cool. I think I'm gonna have to wrap soon. Here is a video of a big elephant, and I think Amboseli is sort of near, kind of in the shadows of Kilimanjaro. Ooh, wow, look how close this big boy. Like, so this is, I'm just literally standing up in our Land Cruiser. This is not even zoomed in. That guy is right there. Oh, now he's almost like looking at us, isn't he? And then you got those little white birds that always hang around the elephants. Yeah, this is one of those moments when you're like, oh my God, it just got real. Whoa, now look at him. He's got those ears. I think at this point, maybe the driver's starting to wonder what to do. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Bring back memory lane here. Let's see, here is another one of the, this one looks like a little bit of a younger elephant. And a little young boy. He's just walking around. He doesn't seem nearly as concerned. That's my wife taking a video of that elephant. And now you notice this is how safaris are. You see all those other cars there. That's just kind of like the routine. We actually went during the low season in February, and what I've been told is that it can be even worse, like in the summertime. So where there's just like dozens, I've heard sometimes hundreds of trucks around like a single lion, and then you're like kind of stressed and trying to force your way in. So let's see, how much time have we been at? You're probably thinking, oh God, it's 30 minutes. So I think we'll wrap up. Hopefully this was interesting. I'll give you one last video before we go, since I know I've been kind of stingy with the actual animal stuff. This is, well, this is an example of me just starting to learn the technique of holding the phone to the binocular. And as you can tell, you gotta hold it like just right, otherwise you get, you know, distortion. But from moment to moment, you can see these are two hippopotami. Oh, they're like fighting, I guess. So that's pretty cool. Whoa. Yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. If you want me to do more, I've probably only shown like like the first day of a 7-day safari. So let me know in the comments what you liked and didn't like about this video. Maybe you want just pure animal, or do you like the kind of narrated like kind of journey and even some non-animal stuff, or you just want to know about product recommendations or whatever, or you like the videos more, or do you want just photos, just the beautiful photos, or this combination approach? All right, man, you guys keep it real and hope you enjoyed it. Bye.